So I had a job interview on Tuesday, and it was my first job interview at Six Flags. More flags, more fun! I applied to them at the beginning of April. It was April Fool's Day, which I guess probably should have been my first clue that things were gonna be a little off. I wanted to come this week, and I did. Drove 4.5 hours up to Gurnee. So I get there, and the first thing I had to do, take a nervous poop. You have no idea how much better you will feel after you just get that out of the way, and then you're good to go. And the area I was supposed to go to was basically like 4 mobile homes, kind of just like put together, whatever, it's fine. And I was interviewing for the entertainment division. Ooh, sounds fancy. No. You'll quickly come to realize it's the opposite of fancy. And I'm sitting there for like 20 minutes, surrounded by 16-year-olds, or like people in their 30s and 40s. Where are the middle one? The me's, the recent graduates? That should have been my second clue. We all went our separate ways after walking through like a tunnel and like a locker room and this and that, and we got to where we were supposed to go. And I sat with this girl, I think her name was Stacy, curly blonde hair, glasses, worked with Six Flags for like, I don't know, 10 years or something now. And I sat there and she asked me all these basic like interview questions. Things about customer service. Hey, I could do that. Things about what I do when I'm really stressed. Well, Stacy, I don't get stressed in the workplace. Nailed it. Every single question, she was ridiculously impressed. If by the end of the interview she wasn't going to offer me a job, she was either going to ask me out on a date or just directly ask me to impregnate her and father her children. That's how charming I was. She told me that I was going to have to wear a pair of grays, which are basically a PE uniform. Like, you know, those nasty cotton shorts, no one looks good in them. Basically all I was missing was my name pressed across the back. And as I was taking out my wallet full of cash and my BlackBerry and just leaving them in this locker room, that's when I knew things were really gonna go downhill. And then she asked me how tall I was. 5'6". I think we could make you Tweety Bird. What? She handed me a pair of bright yellow tights and then asked me to put them on. These are a little tight, I don't think it's gonna work. And she says, they can't go up any higher? I looked down at my crotch, up at her crotch, no. That's where they're stopping. I could make you Sylvester. Are you kidding me? What happened to... We just walked by Batman. We just walked by Robin. Look at this. Am I not... Robin, the boy wonder. Come on. Boy wonder? Please. She has me get in the Sylvester suit. And by this point, I'm just thinking, would now be a good time to mention I have a college degree? I have a college degree. What am I... And you in here with all of the... And the... Everything... Yeah. That's the job they wanted me to do. So, putting on these giant cat paw boots, wearing a huge, baggy, furry cat suit with a hula hoop sewn inside. That's how they make the stomach that big. There's a hula hoop sewn inside there. And then there are gloves with 4 fingers. So to help give you a better example, we have the gloves, the closest thing to Sylvester gloves that I have in my house right now. And so I've got these gloves on, and then I can't really move my fingers, I can't really do a whole lot. And she goes, now, time for the helmet. Keep in mind that earlier in the interview, she asked me if I had issues with claustrophobia. The closest thing that I have to that, unfortunately, for example's sake, is this bowl. She takes it and she's like putting it on my head, and I'm like, oh god, it's dark in here. It's really dark, and then it doesn't fit right. So my eyes are covered, I can't see anything, and she's like, is that alright? And I'm like, well, I guess so. And then so she buckles me into this thing. And so now, with my hands, can't feel anything, not only am I strapped into this ridiculous hat, suit, face thing, but I have no way of getting myself out. Like, I'm totally depending on her to get me out of this thing, and I start to have a panic attack. And this happens about 3 times, probably about 3 times, before she eventually just convinces me, you have to do it. And then I convince myself, well, you have to do it, because this will make a great story. And she says, now once you're in the suit, you're not allowed to say anything. You have to shake your head yes, or no. Meanwhile, this hat, this bowl is actually a really good representation of how well this hat fit. And so I said, oh, okay, I won't say anything. Then the girl started to go off the deep end, and she had me chasing an imaginary Tweety bird around the laundry room. Now, what would you do if he flew in here? What would you do if he flew up there? Oh, there's a giant dog in your way. I jumped around this laundry room in a full Sylvester outfit for probably about 5 or 6 minutes. Meanwhile, just like mumbling curse words under my breath. Just cannot believe it. Maybe now would be a good time to mention that I have a college degree. Maybe. And the last question was, what would you do if Tweety Bird flew up in this tree, which for the sake of the conversation was on top of a washer? And I stood there, not having it, not in the mood anymore, and I just puzzled. Stroked my little cat chin, leaned on my little cat cheek, and I said, Sylvester doesn't have an answer to that. And she goes, okay, maybe you could build a ladder. And I looked at her and I said, yeah, maybe I could. The interview was over at that point. And then I asked about other opportunities in the entertainment division, basically of which there are none. And she said, well, the best I can do is put you on a wait list. We don't have any openings right now. Which I'm beginning to guess is probably her way of just telling me that I wasn't good. Which I think I'm okay with. Apparently, it's time that I look for more legitimate jobs. They didn't even ask me if I liked kids.